Hello, welcome to New Venture Management, Course Management 640. I am Robert J. Zeiss. As it says, JD means that my doctorate is in law. I'm an attorney, and hopefully you don't hold that against me. We'll talk about that a little bit more as the course proceeds. This is Module 1A. I'll be discussing the overview of the class, what the class requirements are, and the rules that we have to play by. The course uses Moodle. Hopefully you have already looked at the Moodle site for week 0 and done the things there. I'll talk a little bit about this, but one of the things that you should have done already is to introduce yourself on Moodle and answer some of the questions about the business background or other courses that you have had with respect to business and marketing, finance, those kinds of things. If not, please do that immediately so that we can all know who we are in the class and get some synergy going. There is a textbook for the course that was also listed on Moodle in week 0, and it's in the syllabus. In week 0, you will also find a business plan form to give me an idea as to the kind of new business that you're looking at and what your business plan is going to be about. Right now, I'm going to take a look at the syllabus. And here's the syllabus. This is also in week 0 on the Moodle site. And it's in a classic form. You won't be able to read this in the online presentation, but if you open up a separate window with the syllabus, you'll be able to see it. And one of the prerequisites for this course is Finance 516. Hopefully you have taken that. If not, you will be at a little bit of a disadvantage, but we will be going back through the basics of finance to review them, so you should, with a little extra work, be able to catch up. Okay, this is strictly an online course. The course grading out of 100 points, we have postings on the discussion board. Moodle calls them forums. There are 3 assignments, 4 quizzes. The quizzes will be multiple choice, graded by the system. And again, trying to test the basics, make sure you understand what it's about. The big deliverable in the course is the business plan. You are expected to write a business plan for either a new business or a new product or service offering for an existing business. Again, it does not have to be a brand new startup business. It could be a new product offering, a new service offering. In the past, in face-to-face courses of this type, my students have, for example, written a business plan to do a new offering. One student, his father runs a limo service that basically takes people back and forth to the airports in the New York area, basically Newark and Kennedy, LaGuardia. Father was thinking of expanding the business and going into doing weddings and proms and those kinds of activities. Needed a business plan. Did it make sense? What investment would be needed? What would they have to do? What would be the profitability? How long would it take for them to be profitable? What would be their competition in this different area? So again, a new service offering within an existing business. So there's a written business plan. There is also a presentation that I'll talk about a little bit more in a moment that will be done written, either in Word format or PowerPoint, and optionally can be presented online. We will have the opportunity to do online presentations with other people listening to your presentation and asking questions. My biography is here. It is also posted on the Introduce Yourself portion of Moodle. The reason that I have it both here and on the Moodle site is not to brag or to show you my credentials necessarily, but rather to give you an idea of what my background is. We are all creatures of our environment and experience. So my biases, my thoughts about business and opportunities is of course influenced by my background and my experience, as is yours. So as I'll explore later in this course, one of the things I'll be saying is you should take the advice of your parents, your elders, your advisors, but think about it, evaluate it. What are their prejudices? What are their biases? And does it make sense? So again, I'm going to say things, I'm going to give you, a lot of this course is going to be opinion as opposed to hard scientific fact. And again, you have to weigh that, factoring in, where I come from and what my background is. Obviously, you're expected to do your own work. As the student code says, we do conform to the NJIT honor code, and any violations will be dealt with. Beyond that, we have the schedule. The schedule's in Moodle, but here it is in classic form. Again, you're not going to be able to see this clearly on the video, but if you look at the window, you'll see that the last 3 weeks of the course, there are essentially 12 weeks of lecture and participation. Weeks 13 and 14 of the business plan presentations. And the last week, which would be final week, is quiz 4 and also feedback from me and possibly from the other students on the business plan and the business plan presentations. All right. At this point, again, I suggest that you look at the plan for a new opportunity business plan and fill that out as quickly as possible. Okay. Let's see. I have to bring up another file here. Again, this is actually on Moodle for week 1, and we talk about the business plan, and it says business plan outline. It's on Moodle, it's an Acrobat PDF file. But before I get there, let me kind of tell you where this course fits in and how it's structured. Hopefully, many of the principles and concepts, methodologies that I will go through, you're going to have seen before, and you're going to say, hey, wait a minute, I'm not learning anything new here. It's not, not a whole lot of new data. Took this in a marketing course, took this in a principles of management course, took this in a finance course, heard about these terms. I think that's great. It's more of a problem if you haven't heard of them. The idea here is that we're going to try to take all of these principles that were learned, as opposed to taught, learned, hopefully by you in these other courses, and put them together in the context of starting a new business, either a company or a new business opportunity within an existing company. And we're going to look at each of those principles from the viewpoint of the entrepreneur, the new business founder, the new business owner, the new business manager, and put it in and use them to put together a business plan and a presentation. This is a fairly new course in an online environment, but the course has been around for a number of years, and I've had the pleasure and honor of teaching it for quite a few years. Over the span of that time, we have had a number of businesses actually start and be successful. As a result of this course, absolutely not. Okay, I don't have that much of an ego. The reason is that the people who took the course had an idea, wanted to really do something, and this course, the requirement of writing the business plan, presenting the business plan, getting their ideas together, gave them the impetus to really start the business. They said, hey, I've got this done. I can really make this happen. Let's go do it. And that's what we're looking for here. So again, hopefully some of you are really interested in starting your own business or starting a different phase of an existing business, expanding an existing business, and we'll go from there. In the next module, we will talk about starting a new business and also something called intrapreneurship, which is entrepreneurship within an existing company, typically within a large corporation, or it could be, again, just a new product or service offering within an existing corporation. And therefore, I like to call this course, even though the catalog officially calls it New Venture Management, I like to call it New Venture and Innovation Management, because it doesn't have to be a new business. It could be, again, some innovative concepts that expand or redirect an existing business entity. I'd like to, I don't know if anybody has heard of an ancient historian called Plutarch, P-L-U-T-A-R-C-H, Plutarch, who lived in the 1st century, 46 to 127 of the Common Era. And the only reason I mention him is that one of his famous sayings is that the mind is not a vessel to be filled, but a fire to be kindled. And I think that's important, and hopefully that's what I can do in the context of this course. A lot of the things that we're going to talk about and a lot of the things I'm going to say, particularly when it comes to the use of technology or advertising or promotion, are valid right now. But things are changing in technology, things are constantly changing in business and in the world, and what is right today may not be right next year or the year after. So really what I want to get you to do is to think about the topics, to criticize, to give your opinions, so that if somebody says, well, we've never done it that way before, your response should be, so what? Why not? Try, innovate, make something new, change the way the system works. Okay, back to the outline. Here's the outline again. It is on Moodle. This is the outline that I want you to use for your business plan. Is it the only outline? Absolutely not. Every textbook that you pick up will have a slightly different variant on this. This is kind of a classic outline. I ask you to use it so that it makes it a little bit easier for me for grading purposes to follow what you're doing. And again, it would be acceptable in almost any environment. Also on Moodle. In week 1 is a sample business plan. This was done, you can see, in 2001 by a student. And with her permission, we have posted it here. And you'll see it's 41 pages long. Here's the table of contents. Again, you may not be able to read this on the video, but I would ask you to open up the window called Sample Business Plan. This was an A+ plan. This plan was part of the Kaufman Foundation, Kaufman Entrepreneurial Foundation competition, and she went to the finals in Ohio. She didn't win the grand prize, but she did make it to the finals. Again, an excellent plan. Does your plan have to be this long? No. Follow the outline and the guidelines I gave you. But this is what the quality that you should strive for. This is where you want to get to. So again, please look at that. All right. Let's get down to, let's take a look at some of the requirements and rules, things that that you're going to have to do. For the course. These are the postings. Again, this is on Moodle. It's called Forums, Posting Rules, and Gradings. Obviously, we don't have a face-to-face class, so we can't do a whole lot of dialoguing in class. I can only hear myself talk. I can't hear you ask me questions. So these postings are vital to the learning process. So during the course of the lectures, what I am going to do is to say, well, what about this? What do you think about that? Why would you do something like this? And say, all right, this is a posting for this week. And you will be expected to respond. It's also a good simulation of the collaborative environment, which is very, very important today in terms of teamwork in a virtual environment. Very often, corporate teams aren't in one building. They're spread around the world, and you have to collaborate via electronic means. The posting requirements are there. Again, you may not be able to read it on the video, but every 2 weeks, you're expected to make a total of a minimum of 4 replies or 4 postings. And they cannot be duplicated. Don't try and game the system. Here's the grading rules. Each topic is going to remain open for 4 weeks. Make sure you read the details here. There will be multiple topics open at any point in time. Usually I will open 1 or 2 each week, and it will be on a rolling 4-week basis. Again, you can only, the last item, you can only make 2 postings on a given topic. We want you to look at all the topics, not just focus on one that you happen to feel comfortable with. Again, the second point there, use good taste, no profanity, no comments in bad taste. You can be critical, but have some class about it. Here's the grading rubric. You can read that again on the slide. It's anywhere from a -2 to a +4. Has to post something new. Again, read the rules of engagement. Is it accurate? Does it teach something new? The subject line has to say something. Put a statement in there. It makes you think about it. Too many people send emails these days that have one-word subjects, and considering all the spam that I'm sure all of us get, sometimes you don't know whether you should read it or not. And sometimes important things get thrown away or put into the spam folder just because you can't tell what it is from the subject line. So the subject line is important. You will also make your own evaluations of the postings. And you will make evaluations of other people's postings that you reply to. So again, take a look at this. These grading rubrics have been around for a while. As it says at the bottom, Professor Peltz up at Herkimer, up in New York, part of the SUNY network, came up with these, and they've been very, very valuable. On the subject of postings, you don't have to agree with me. As I said earlier, a lot of things I'm going to say are my opinions, and that doesn't necessarily mean they're right. You can challenge my opinions on the postings. I may have some advantage because of my experience and just the fact that I'm older, but again, that may not necessarily be correct. It may be biased. Challenge other people. Put your thoughts in there. Give your opinions. Say what you really think. I don't have all the answers, and I think I'm going to reiterate this again when I talk about business plan grading, but I don't have all the answers. So you come up with some ideas of your own. All right, moving right along. I mentioned that we're going to do presentations. The presentation is basically an elevator pitch, and again, on Moodle, you have a file called elevator pitch. Please take a look at it. That's what this document is. The concept of an elevator pitch is key to entrepreneurs in that it's a short, concise way of saying who you are and why people should listen to you. Excuse me. The idea of an elevator pitch is that you have been standing around perhaps all day, or maybe it's just luck, but a lot of times it's planned. You've been waiting for a particular person, an investor, a key manager. This is a sales concept, is where the elevator pitch came from. You're waiting for a key purchasing agent, a key executive, and you know who that person is because you've done your research, you've done your homework, you know what they look like, and that person is getting on an elevator in this office building. So you make sure you get on the elevator with that person, he or she, and get next to them. And as the elevator door closes, you say, "Oh, Ms. Jones, you're the executive vice president for operations, aren't you, for this company?" And chances are they'll say yes, if that's indeed right, and hopefully you're right. Okay, in the length of that short elevator trip, which may be 60 seconds to 3 minutes, you have to say who you are, what your company has, why the customer should be interested in it, and most importantly, come up with a follow-up offer. So again, I'm Bob Zeiss. I'm your account manager from Xerox. Been working with your company for the past several years, talking to your operations people. we have this great new color copier that could give you better output than you've ever had in terms of quality and reduce your printing cost, color printing cost, by 30%. This is important. You do a lot of volume. This could mean a savings of $500,000 a year to your company. Okay. This is who you are, what your company has, and what it means to the customer. We'll talk about features versus benefits a little bit later in the course. But you can't leave it at that. The most important thing is the follow-up offer. And what you say is, may I pay you a visit? Can I come in to see you and bring in some literature and specifications? I've been talking to your people down in operations, and I think you would really like to have a brief overview of what the product is like. May I call you for an appointment? Chances are that executive didn't get to be where they are by being crude. They've got a little bit of polish. So what are they going to say? They're going to say, no, get out of my face. Not really. Say, sure, yeah, call my secretary. Call my secretary. Do they mean it? No. But what do? A couple days later, or a week later, you call and you get the secretary and you said, I met Ms. Jones last week, and I briefly talked to her about our new Xerox color copier and asked if I could come in to give a brief presentation, and she said I should call you and make an appointment because she would really like to see it. Well, is that exactly the truth? No, you're bending it a little bit, but that's okay. You get the appointment, and that's the important part. You've got to follow up. You've got to get a follow-up offer. The Kaufman Foundation that I talked about has a little different version of the elevator pitch. Again, you're not going to read this on the video, but if you have the other window open, you'll see it. And it is used frequently to give potential investors, creditors, even people at a cocktail party an idea of who you are and what you do. Hi, what kind of business are you in? Don't say, I own my own business, I do auto repairs. You should have a nice little polished pitch that says who you are, why you're important. Again, the same things. And there are contests for these things that are run as part of various trade shows, venture capital shows that we'll talk about, things called business angel shows. And again, we'll talk about all these terms as we get into the course. And there's another view of different way of saying basically the same thing. Your presentation will be an elevator pitch. It'll be in writing, either a set of PowerPoint slides or a Microsoft Word file, and optionally you can present it online to the rest of the class, including myself. Okay, moving right along. There are a number of case studies. Here's the rules. It's also on Moodle. I won't go through them in detail. Do them. The important thing is that they are due by 6 p.m. on Monday of the week where they appear in the syllabus. It will be posted on Moodle that it will be due on Monday, such and such a date, at 6 p.m. If it's late, you get docked half a point out of 5, and that's a problem. If it locks, it will lock 1 week after the due date. If it locks, you get a 0 for that assignment, and that will obviously affect your final grade. So again, I'm asking for you to get your assignments in on time, please. Here is the grading chart for the business plan. Again, you have that on Moodle. As an Acrobat file. It's called Business Plan and Presentation Grading. And this is literally, this is an Excel spreadsheet that I have here. And this is what I use to grade your business plan, following the outline and what I look for in each of the categories. Also, the presentation, the first 5 items under the presentation, or first 4 items rather, are part of the written plan. The 5th can, in terms of how you put it together, how you present it, has to be part of it. The online presentation, again, is worth some extra credit, part credit, and you're expected to participate as a reviewer, a critiquer, a question poser for other students in either one or both of the sessions. There are two sessions in weeks 13 and 14, respectively. Okay. Lastly, moving, just to give you an idea of the way the course is put together. There is supplemental reading. What's up in this? Here we go. There is supplemental reading for each week. The textbook is good. You should have it. You should read it. However, like any textbook, what happens is by the time it gets on the shelf, it's a little bit out of date. Things are changing very, very rapidly. So what I do is I supplement the textbook with newer articles, or sometimes articles that are of key interest, even though they may be a couple of years old. They bring across a specific point that the text doesn't necessarily cover well, and you're expected to read it. They will typically be in Acrobat form. This is about a college student winning a business prize in Fairleigh Dickinson's business competition about something called kettle corn, and shows, what innovation is about. So again, there will be supplemental reading almost every week, and you are expected to do that. It is part of the course. Also, part of the course is at the bottom of each week should be something that says read for next week. And what read for next week is literally some material, again, to supplement the text that you should read before looking at the following week's presentations and lectures. In this case, for next week, it's a slide from the Small Business Incubator called the Enterprise Development Center here at NJIT. I will be talking more about that next week. A site called bplans.com, which has sample business plans on a whole variety of different kinds of businesses. You cannot download them, but you can look at them. And we'll be talking about a few examples. So again, please make sure that you do the read for next week before you get to next week. I do not have an office on campus. I am an adjunct, a practicing attorney, a consultant. I work for a living. So I do not typically have an office on campus. The best way to get hold of me is to email. All right, you have my email address. You can contact me either through the system. You can, if you want to do something as a posting, you can do it as a posting if it's something that you think, a question that is relevant to the entire class. I look forward to the dialogue, to responding to you and working with you to get the most out of this course. As the slide says up here, our next module, Module 1B, I will talk about what is an entrepreneur and what is an intrapreneur, an entrepreneur within an existing corporation coming up with a new product line, a new product offering. And I look forward to you joining me in Module 1B. Thank you.